Hello, and welcome to DMG Scale Models. My name is Dan. I'll be your host for this build. The NSX Type R was only released in Japan as a Honda model in extremely limited numbers. Honda engineers shaved more than 200 pounds off the car's overall weight. The suspension was stiffened, while improvements to the body and undercarriage refined downforce and lessened drag. The engineers took the foundation of the standard NSX, stripped it down, made performance improvements, and reduced anything that didn't contribute to its track presence. In 2002, Japan saw the launch of the second generation Type R, which only 140 were built. The second generation Type R received some extra horsepower with a larger 3.2-liter V6 that produced 290 horsepower and 224 foot-pounds of torque. This iteration of the track-focused NSX approached a track-worthy 175 miles per hour. This Fujimi kit, part number ID38, is 1/24th scale and contains 78 parts. We will start off by laying out the parts for assembly. Here I have washed the parts in a mild detergent and set them out to air dry. To prepare the body for paint, I have removed any flashing as well as a support brace, along with using a panel line tool to scribe the panel lines. I have also attached the front and rear ground effects to the body using Mr. Cement S glue. With the body properly prepared, I applied 2 coats of Tamiya's Fine Surface Primer in gray to ensure proper adhesion of the top coat. I primed the rest of the remaining parts as well. Now primed, the body is ready for its next step. For a base coat, I used Tamiya's TS76 Mica Silver. 2 coats were applied 10 minutes apart. I will let this cure several days, then apply the color coats. This will make a great base for our top coat color. While the base coat was drying on the body, I turned my attention to the chassis. To start with, I used the gallery setup to paint the base of the chassis. I used Tamiya's XF56 Metallic Gray, mixed 1-to-1 with their X28 thinner, and applied 2 coats. The chassis details are molded in, so to enhance them, I used a combination of Tamiya's flat and semi-gloss blacks, along with Kaleido metallic aluminum, stainless steel, and silver to define the different parts. For the top color coat, I mixed Tamiya's X27 Clear Red and X28 Thinner 1-to-1. I used my gallery airbrush setup to apply it. I started off with a mist coat and worked my way around until I had even coverage. I did the same thing for the hood. I waited 15 minutes between each coat to ensure an even finish. Overall, 3 coats were applied, with the last coat applied as the wet coat, bringing out the beautiful candy red color. I will let this cure a minimum of 5 days before applying the next step. The color looks stunning. Not a bad attempt at a candy finish. When cured, I will paint the roof a gloss black. I placed the decals for the center caps onto the rims. A setting solution helps them adhere. The tires press easily onto the rims. Looks like I will have to reapply a center cap decal. Let's move on to the front suspension components. Be sure to keep the parts straight for this step. Here I have laid out all the parts for the assembly. This piece, part number V1, has a slight taper to it, so it can fit into the back of the wheel assembly. The rotor is pressed onto the steering knuckle. The steering knuckle is attached to the wheel by pressing in this pin. No glue is necessary. The steering link is installed by attaching to one steering knuckle assembly, then feeding the link into the chassis. There, you can attach the opposite end onto the opposing steering knuckle, then set both knuckles into their notches in the chassis. To attach the control arms, there are 2 pins to place onto the chassis and 1 hole for the steering. Only use glue on the pins to attach to the chassis, keeping glue away from the pivot point on the steering knuckle. The last piece to attach is the protector plate to complete the front suspension assembly. The rear suspension assembly is similar to the front. There are 3 parts to the assembly: the spindle, the rotor, and the axle. The rotor is pressed into place onto the spindle. The axle is passed through the rear of the spindle. There is a notch to place the axle shaft into the chassis. Once that is lined up, the spindle is set in place. The control arm secures the spindle and is attached to the chassis. Repeat for the other side. The rear suspension is now complete. With the rear wheels installed, I now have a complete rolling chassis. The body was masked off so I could paint the rooftop and pillars. I mixed Tamiya X1 Black 1:1 with X28 thinner and applied several light coats with my gallery airbrush. The tape is removed, leaving nice crisp lines. With the hood in place, the NSX R is ready for decals and clear coat. For the interior, I painted the tub Tamiya's X18 semi-gloss black, then applied folk art red flocking for the carpet. The seats were painted with Tamiya's XF7 flat red. The dash was detailed using the kit decals along with Kaleido stainless steel for the accents. The most disappointing aspect of this kit was the engine, or lack of engine, to assemble. An example of the engine was molded into the back of the interior tub with raised details. So I made the best of what I had and detail painted the molded-in 3.2 dual overhead cam engine to look like the real thing. At least the kit comes with all the engine compartment decals to help with the appearance. Before clear coating, I attached the vent covers for the sides and then the hood. Then I cut the included screen for the engine cover, attaching that to the cover frame. I painted the side marker lights clear orange and attached those to the body. Then I painted the tail lights tester's stoplight red and turn signal amber. I applied the badging decals to the hood, side pillars, and the rear. I painted the high mount brake light stoplight red and attached it to the rear spoiler. Be careful when removing from the sprue, as I snapped this, but was able to save it. To prepare the paint before top coating, I took the Tamiya TS13 Gloss Clear and placed it in hot tap water for 5 minutes. With the paint properly warmed up, I took it to the paint booth. Wearing proper safety equipment, I applied the clear coat to the body. Several light coats were applied, allowing 15 minutes between each coat. I will let the clear coat cure at least 5 days before I buff and polish it. A nice sheen ready for the next step. The interior mounts directly to the chassis. There are 4 locating pins on the interior that fit into the pinholes on the chassis. A little glue and the interior is locked down. I secured the rear air dam to the body. The rear spoiler fits snugly to the trunk area, and the screened engine cover is placed over the engine compartment. When installing the rear interior glass, there are several notches that help align it. Once in place, I secured it with microcrystal clear glue. The rear window sits on back over the engine cover. For the side windows, I used a marker to outline the window frame. The window mounts to the inside of the body. I mounted the rear view mirror and placed the windshield onto the frame. Glass installation is complete. Installing the chassis to the body is straightforward. Start by placing the rear end first. There are tabs on the chassis that fit into the slots on the body. Align the two, then proceed to tilt the chassis into the body. Once in, the tabs on the front are placed by gently prying forward the bumper. The tabs will fall into place, locking down the body. I set the headlight covers and hood in place. Windshield wipers were next, and finally the mirrors. And with that, the Fujimi Honda NSX R assembly is now complete.